welcome back to Cross Stitch to Glow. My name is Stephanie and this is a channel about cross stitch. As you can see, my sister Allison isn't here today. That's because today's video is just going to be my plans for 2024, and I'm going to go over my 24 new starts in 24, what I'm going to put on my WIPGO board, and then what plans I have for my stitching my own travel photography. I'll show you guys some patterns that I already have whipped up and talk about what I'm going to do in terms of like starting and selling patterns for that. Because some people have asked me for specific things that I want to get them, but I'm a little, anyway, I'll get to that in a little bit. Allison's not here because we mentioned this last time, but like my plans for next year are like very ambitious and complicated. And I'm like a person who loves making stretch goals, and it's totally fine not meeting them because I know I will do more than I would have otherwise having the stretch goal, even if I don't meet the stretch goal. But she's like a much more of a like do what she wants when she wants to kind of stitcher, and so having a year of plans would stress her out, whereas having a year of plans for me is kind of like invigorating. But at the end of the day, we'll probably both end up kind of meeting in the middle in terms of like structure. So she may not even watch this video. I don't know. She should just watch it unfold throughout the year. Because my plans for this year are a little wild. My entire family had the flu over the last week. So this video is probably going to be choppy. All of our videos have been choppy lately because I've just been trying to cut them down for time. I really hate uploading videos that are longer than 90 minutes for like a regular Flosstube episode. I feel like a solo person, a Flosstube episode of 45 minutes to an hour is normal. And so for two people, like anything above 90 minutes just feels like asking way too much of people's time. But today's video might be extra choppy because talking by myself, I tend to go on rants that then I don't want to subject you to. And then also since I'm recovering from the stomach flu, and I think it was the stomach flu. It looks like the stomach flu for my son. For me, it looks more like a cold. So anyway, I'll probably have coughing fits that I also don't want to subject you to. So for today's video, I have what I have kitted up for next year for my new starts. Where I have kitted items, I will show you what's in my kit. Some things I don't have kitted because they're going to be from stash. Where I have a paper pattern, I will show you the paper pattern. Where I have a PDF, I will just put up a picture right here. And yeah, let's dive in. So my plans for next year are going to start January 1, but there's two big starts that I have planned for the end of December that will go on my WIPGO board for next year that you guys have never seen. So I do want to go ahead and mention what those are. So, because like I talked about it a little bit in my Flosstubes, our like regular Flosstube episodes, but just so there's kind of like documentation of like what these are. So the first one that I'm actually starting on Saturday, you guys have seen this before. You've seen the threads before in my OwlForest unboxing Flosstube extra. No, you didn't, because this is the one that the pack that didn't come in. So, but you've seen it in some place in haul. So in the OwlForest unboxing video, I talked a lot about like why I really love OwlForest embroidery and how it's kind of related to like all my time. I lived in Bulgaria, which is in Eastern Europe, for 4 years. I studied Russian and Eastern European studies in college. It didn't end up being my final major, but I took like every class but one to get the major. And then I also like run a travel website about the Balkans, and the Balkans are not like, so OwlForest is Russian, but a lot of the imagery and patterns are a lot like places that I've been in Eastern Europe. In other parts of Eastern Europe, I've also traveled around parts of the former USSR. So it just reminds me of a lot of things that I love about travel in the world and some of my favorite memories. And so on Saturday, I'm going to start Alyonushka's alphabet, which I have as a PDF pattern. So I'll put the picture right here. This is a gorgeous but gigantic Cyrillic sampler. And the Cyrillic alphabet is not, some people call it the Russian alphabet. It's not the Russian alphabet. It is an alphabet that was created by the Saints Cyril and Methodius in English, or in Bulgarian, Kirill e Methodi, Saint Cyril and Methodius, who were Bulgarian monks who were living in what is now North Macedonia, which is complicated, and like they were living in Ohrid, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world that most people have never heard about. I'll show you a picture. It is like one of the most beautiful places in the world. But the Bulgarian people are very proud of the fact that the Cyrillic alphabet is actually wasn't created by Bulgarians. It was in the Bulgarian Empire. It's all like part of why there's so much complicated history in the Balkans is who is what group is complicated, but it was part of the greater Bulgarian Empire at the time. And I lived my first apartment in Bulgaria that was like my real apartment when I moved in with my boyfriend at the time, but now husband, was Kirill E. Methodi Street, well, Ulica. And so I lived there for a few years, and there's, Bulgaria has like national holidays around like literacy and literature. And it's just all very tied up with like my personal story. I think the Cyrillic alphabet is beautiful, but if you're somebody who's like the Russian-Ukraine war, like the Cyrillic alphabet is so much more than just the Russian alphabet. And also I don't believe in like punishing like a people or a culture for the actions of government, but that's like a longer story. So anyway, I'm going to start this on Saturday because it is the 3-year anniversary of when we had to leave Bulgaria during it was very stressful leaving Bulgaria with a baby and a dog. It was very stressful because it was in December of 2020, so it was in the middle of the pandemic. Flying was stressful, having a baby was stressful. My husband, we were waiting for, we spent the whole year waiting for his his K1 fiance visa to come in, so we weren't really in control of when we left, and I'd overstayed my visa because of the baby and the pandemic, but mostly because of the baby, because I was like in a very high risk pregnancy situation, and so it was all very complicated and stressful. And so starting this on Saturday will be kind of cathartic, but then it will go on my WIPGO for next year. So this thread pack is, I think the thread pack is really beautiful. The colors are beautiful. Now, I couldn't remember last time when I talked about this, what I had chosen as fabric. So it is big. This is a big girl. So this is actually the called for fabric. This is a 30, it's a call for fabric. I don't remember if the count is the call for count. When you buy a thread pack from OwlForest Embroidery, which you actually still can do, you can order it. They just do shipping through this other company, and the shipping is really expensive, which is why I bought like 6 thread packs at once, because the shipping was like $20 whether I bought 1 thread pack or 6. So I bought a kit and 5 other thread packs. So I didn't get the called for fabric from them. I just ordered it from 123 Stitch, but I don't remember what the called for count was. But on their website, when you order the thread pack, you tell them like what count you're going to do it on. And it's a little bit cheaper, obviously, to get threads to do it on, like with 1 strand on 36 or 40 versus 2. I ordered the thread pack for 2 strands on 28 count, but it's the same as, but then when I was measuring it and everything, I decided to do it on 36 count. And this is a Zweigart count, 36 count light mocha Edinburgh linen, and that'll be really pretty. I'm gonna wait and see what the coverage looks like to see if I want to do 1 or 2 strands. I only have 1 piece going right now. That's a 40 count with 1 strand. I don't have any 36 counts going, so I don't know what I'll think the coverage looks like, but my guess is I'll do the coverage of the 1 stranded on 40 count with OwlForest. Looks really good. So I'm guessing I'll probably do 1 stranded, but we'll see. So I'm going to do that. And then on New Year's Eve, I'm not going to do a 12 by 12, like a traditional 12 by 12, because I don't, with 2 young children, I just don't get 12 hours to like stitch. Even if I would have to do like so many weird childcare favors to get to stitch for 12 hours. It's just not worth it. So instead I thought I would take the time to start this really, well, it's a BAP, to start the Village of Hawk Run Hollow and work on the frame, which is 12 boxes. I won't get the frame done, but I will at least start the frame, and I might start a little bit of this. So I'll either try to do as much of the frame as I can, or I might just start this first box. And I don't have the floss for this one yet. This one I'm gonna do in just the DMC. It is called for, all the Hawk Run hollows are called for in MPIs and have DMC conversions, and I'm gonna do the DMC conversion. I'm just gonna worry about kitting up the first block, because my guess is this will take me 5 years. Like, doing the math on how much I probably will have time to dedicate to it, I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes my oldest WIP for a long time, but I think that's pretty standard. Now the call for fabric is, I know it's Lakeside Linen. Okay, so the call for fabric is 40 count sand dune from Lakeside Linen. Now, the day I decided to do this was because I saw that sand dune was available on 123 Stitch, and I just ordered it, but I ordered, to get it, they only had 28 count, and so I ordered 28 count, but I ordered like a half yard of it. And then it like didn't go to ready to ship. Like sometimes when you order things from 123 Stitch that are like, and this happens with Lakeside Linen more often than other things, but I've had this happen with Lakeside Linen and with some Gloriana silks, where like it'll be available, it'll show as in stock, and then some things will ship out and some things will get put on the back burner, and then nothing that I have ordered that has been like backburnered has ever actually shipped yet, but they don't charge you for it till it ships. So I ended up getting like a 9x13 of sand dune. So I know what the color is and I will use that for something, but the half yard I ordered didn't come in. And I think that's kind of a blessing in disguise, because I don't think I want, you guys saw that Alyonushka's alphabet is going to be like gigantic. I don't think I need another that size piece. Like, I don't know, I think I have the room. I definitely have the room now, but I don't know where we're going to be living by then. But like, that's a lot of like big things. So I ordered two backups to compare it to the sand dune, because since I have a piece of sand dune, I can see what it looks like. And I settled on this 40 count doubloon from Picture This Plus, which is more modeled than the sand dune, but has the same like kind of gold. Let's see, it's a little, you know, it always washes out the color, but it's a little more brown. It's showing up a little bit brighter gold and is a little bit more of a brown gold. But I think this will be great, and doing it on 40 count means it fits on a fat quarter. If that half yard ever ships, I will be so happy to have it. I will find something to do with it, but I'm not going to use it for this piece. And then, like I said, I'm just going to kit it up with the DMC. So getting that kitted up before New Year's Eve. I'm filming this on December 12th. Like, I'll go through my stash and see what I have, and what I don't have, I'll go get from a box store. So both of those are, yeah, of course, it's like 20 days left of 19 days left in the year. And I'm like, let's just start 2 BEPs. But both of those are like multi-year projects that I am not going to stress about. And they're both projects with blocks where you can get lots of like block finishes, which will be exciting. So that is my plans for the rest of the year, and both of those will go on my WIPGO board. Now before I move into my 24 new starts, I want to talk about and I do have to organize as I go, or this will be a disaster. Okay. Before I do my 24 new starts, I want to talk about my own photography. So I have charted and kitted up 4 pieces that I'm really excited about, but I want to show you, like, all of the kits just look like DMC packs, because all of my pieces are full coverage photographs. And so they're all just on like white Aida, and I just have a giant blanket of white Aida that I bought on Amazon, like a series so I just cut what I need when I go. So like, I bought the floss for these 4 patterns, but there's like no point in showing you guys what the floss packs are, but because they just all look like this. Now this bag is from, this bag is from Lakeside, Lake House stitches on Etsy, and it's one of my favorites, and it's a little tea set, and that's because this in here is the kit for this little French church that I'll show you a picture of that I'm going to do as a 4x5 small. And then the other small that I have is Grand Teton National Park 2, because I'm currently working on Grand Teton National Park #1. And I will probably do the French church first, just for a change of pace, and then go back to Grand Teton National Park, but I'm going to do both of those. And then I'm going to start 2 8x10s, one as part of the Princess Birthday SAL that I'll talk about more in a minute. And that is the Palace of Sintra, which is this photograph here. And the 4x5s that I do have about 4,000 stitches in them. The 8x10s have about 15,000 stitches. So I anticipate finishing a lot of my smalls next year, and maybe 1 or 2 of the 8x10s. And the other 8x10 I'm going to start is, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but it is a water temple in Trong An in northern Vietnam, and it's just one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And here's the original photograph. So for plans for my store, I do want to launch my Etsy store. What's holding me up is a couple things. The first is just photographing the finished pieces. So I finished 3. I finished Arches National Park, the Icelandic beach, and a street and a lamp city. Okay, so I finished 3 pieces, but I only fully finished one of them, which I showed you guys in the state fair extra. And I just haven't fully decided how I want to finish them. Until I finish them, it's hard to take pictures of the models to go in the patterns. And I know eventually I'll sell patterns that don't have models, but I feel like for the first ones, it's really important to show the models and for the models to be really pretty and done well. And so that's holding me up, because I do want to go get those framed and take those photos. And then the other thing that's holding me up is I really want to sell paper patterns as well as PDFs, because I know a lot of people like paper patterns. And even for me, even though I prefer to stitch off of a PDF, I prefer to buy the paper pattern and convert it myself, because, you know, my sister stitches, it seems silly to have a PDF that I can't give to her if she wants to stitch something, or that I couldn't resell. So I would like to sell both, because I know people have preferences, but paper patterns means holding onto inventory, which I really don't have space for in my house. So I think I'm gonna have to go with just PDFs in the beginning until we move. And the goal is to move next summer into a space where at least I can get office space. I may not have a full office, but I need office space. I'm running a business from my house that is my full-time job as a travel writer, where I have literally no storage space for equipment or books or old hard drives, all the things you need to run an online business. I don't have space for those. So then adding inventory to it is stressful. And Allison's offered to let me store stuff here because she wants to eventually sell needle minders and stuff. But the thought of adding ground shipping stuff right now is just a little bit overwhelming. So I think I'm gonna have to drop that and just sell PDFs for a little while. I mean, obviously people can print the PDFs. It's really just that they have no resale value, and they have no, it's just different. So, and I know some people really care about which one they use. So my original goal was to get that up in January. I still would like to do that, but it means I have to finish 1 or 2 more smalls and get them fully finished. So February might be a better goal, because I do want them, I don't know. I know some people are I want to buy one just and they would just buy it if I just sold it with no good picture. But, for most people who don't know me and haven't, who are just on Etsy browsing, I want, they won't know to trust that these are good patterns. And since so many shops on Etsy are people who are stealing artwork, I want to showcase that this is my original art. I hold the copyright to the photograph. You don't have to worry. It's not AI. This is my work. But I wanted to have that like quality that comes with like being a real artist. And I want the pattern quality to match how I feel about the pictures. So, and also like looking at people like the Witchy Stitcher, their patterns are just like the way that they showcase their patterns is just so beautiful. And it's not like I'm gonna be like at that level, at least not like anytime soon. Like, but I don't want to. I want to put something out there that I'm proud of. So that's anyway. So that's kind of where I'm at with selling my own patterns. And people have like messaged me and asked me like if I have pictures of certain places, if I'm gonna like chart those. And if you have a place you were like that you've wanted a pattern for but you haven't found one, you can message me and DM me on Instagram at Cross Stitch the Globe, and I can go through and see, because I've been to 57 countries and 45 states, but I don't have like chartable photos from every one of those, because I've talked in many videos about like how, like what the charting process is kind of, not what it's like, but I've talked about what makes a good photograph and what makes a good photograph that's stitchable as like a smaller piece, because you don't want to be stitching like things that are like 4 feet wide. So that's kind of what my plans are for my own travel photography stitching. And now let's get into my 24 new starts in 24, which I don't know. I know a lot of different people are doing it, and I know and I know it's kind of like a thing that people do every year, but I know the person who inspired me to do it is Pam from Just Keep Stitching. And why I wanted to go through and do this video is because I loved her video where she went through and mentioned each piece and explained like why. And so I'm going to go through each piece that I've picked for my 24 new starts for next year and when I'm going to be starting it, either the month or the date, and kind of why, and I'll show you the kits, and I'll show you the bags if they have bags. So, and then she has a hashtag that I'll share here that is, I believe, but the right hashtag will be here, but I believe the hashtag is 24 new starts in 24 or in 2024. I don't know. And I can't look it up because my phone is where my Instagram is and I'm using that to record. So the right hashtag is going to be here. And I'm also going to link to the Just Keep Stitching video. Pam and Steph are both in the video, but only Pam is doing it, the 24 new starts. All right, so my first new start for next year is going to be Cinderella by Mirabilia. I've talked a lot about this pattern and how, so we're doing a birthday SAL for my sister. It's going to be the hashtag Princess Birthday SAL. Her birthday is January 6th. And for that SAL, we have a whole video, which I'll link in the description, about, kind of announcing the SAL. And I have like 100 pattern ideas. And I also put them on my Instagram account. I went through like different designers and found different patterns that are princesses from them. But I'm doing the Mirabilia Cinderella. This piece is gigantic. I don't expect it to be done by her next birthday or by her next birthday after that. Like, it's just a really big piece, but I'm doing it on the called for, which I switched the called for. The called for is 32 count smoky pearl casual linen. I'm doing it on 28 count because it needs to be on a half yard either way. And I got advice from some people in the Mirabilia community that the beads tend to fit better on 28 counts. So that's what I'm doing. And yes, you just saw me start a bunch of Mirabilias, and I'll be starting more other ones. And I will just be somebody who has a lot of Mirabilias, who are making little amounts of progress on all of them as I go. But I'm excited about Cinderella. Maybe if I can get it done by the time my daughter's like 4, she'll be 1 this month. It can go up in her room. Like, I'm hoping it can go up in her room when she's still a little girl. I don't want to finish it when she's like graduating high school. And this lives in this Cinderella bag from the Jen made from Jasmine's Custom bag. It has a little, and this is the one where Allison and I have matching bags that she let me pick out the fabric for, which I'm forever grateful to Jen for doing that. It was such a great extra little Christmas present for Allison and a treat for me to have a bag for this SAL. And then the picture that I'm doing of Sintra, I'm going to start in January for this SAL too, because there's the last Queen of Portugal, who was a princess in France before she was a Queen of Portugal. It's been her last night at the Palace of Sintra. And it's just a really beautiful, weird, like, castle. All right, so that is Cinderella. Now I'm going to start, I have this on my list. I might scrap it, but I think I'm going to do it. I bought Stitch and Mommy's Temperature Quaker. I don't think I'm a person who would always want to do a temperature piece, but I do think I want to do one next year because I've mentioned this before, I turned 40 in July. And so I'm going to do Temperature Quaker and I didn't pull, I'm not going to pull it from Stash. I'm going to use the DMC list, but I didn't pull the DMC for it yet because she has like different temperature. She has different color. She has different charted DMC colors based on what kind of temperature, like what kind of climate you live in. And I live in kind of the moderate one that goes from like cold to hot. So I'm going to pull the DMCs for that. And then I think I'm going to do it on a 25 count mushroom Lugana. And I might try to do it 1/1. Because what I want to do is do 2024 and 1984 on the same piece, because then I can see my birth year and the year I turned 40 on the same piece. Having been born in 1984 is kind of one of those years that people, it's like one of those, it's like the year 2000. Like it's kind of just a meaningful year because of the book. So it'll be interesting to see them. I would like to do them on the same piece. So I haven't pulled fabric or anything for it because it's just like, I'll just pull it all. I'll pull fabric from Stash. But if I can get the 2 years to fit on one piece, that would be preferable to stitching them on 2 separate pieces because I'd like it to just be one thing. But we'll see. If I decide after like a month that I hate doing it and I quit, I won't like be mad at myself. But I bought Temperature Quaker from Stitching Mommy. She came out with new ones for this year, but there's something I don't really love stitching Quaker designs, but I think this would be a cool way to have like a meaningful Quaker that looks pretty, but people won't really care or know what it means, but I'll know what it means, that I could get framed that would be pretty because I can't foresee myself doing like a ton of Quaker pieces. I get kind of bored stitching the like Quaker motifs. I see why people like them, but I get a little bit bored with them. So I do have a couple Quakers planned, but I don't think I'll be somebody who wants to do like giant Quakers every year or anything like that. So this will be kind of a way to do a temperature piece and a Quaker piece in one go. See if I like it, but if I don't like it, no harm, no foul. And I'm counting those two as one start because I'm going to do it together. All right, my third start in January. So a lot of my 24 and 24 are kind of pushed towards the beginning of the year because what I've realized this year is that holiday stitching from October to December, I don't really want to be overwhelmed with plans. I kind of like having the ability to do holiday things. And so a lot of these are kind of pushed. So my third new start in January is Snowflakes in Blue by KEB Studio Creations, which I have as a PDF, so you can see the picture here. This is going to be my seasonal piece to work on once Christmas is over. That's when I'm starting it in January, but I probably won't start it until after January 6th because I'll probably keep stitching Christmas through Epiphany. I'm working on her like Halloween pumpkin patch, and I really like it, although it is a lot of Quaker motifs. I think I'm going to change the border. This one I like a little bit more because it's snowflakes, not really Quaker motifs. Now, I can't start it until after Super Bowl weekend, which I think. Okay, so Allison and I are going to the Silver Needle Super Bowl weekend because they're having a 20% off sale. Maybe it's 15, but I think it's 20% off that weekend. And this piece is charted in Weeks Dye Works, and she has a conversion that has blends. I'm not loving doing the DMC blends on Halloween Pumpkin Patch, but I'm going to keep doing them because I already started it. I think I would rather find a Classic Colorworks or Gentle Arts combo that work as pretty as the week dye works. I could pull it myself. I could order it from 123 Stitch, but since I'm already going, I know I'm going to the Silver Needle, it might be nice to pull the weeks and see what they look like. I don't buy weeks. I have some weeks kitted for next year that I bought before I decided not to stitch with weeks. Now I know I'm not going to stitch with weeks, and so, but it would be good to pull the colors and see what they are, and then get other fancy floss that is similar. And what my plan is to do that. So I'm hopefully going to start in January, but I didn't look at the Super Bowl weekend schedule to know it might be the first weekend of February. Irrelevant. It's just my winter stitch until the end of winter. And then I will also pull it out on any fluke snow. If we have, sometimes we get snow, like winter officially lasts until March 21st. We don't usually get snow after that, but occasionally if we get snow after that, or any snow we get before the end of the Christmas season the next year, I will pull it out as a snow day stitch. And I will be in no rush to finish it. All right, then my next piece, which I just showed you guys in my last Flosstube, is the Ink Circles Round Robin that I'm going to do with Ali Z is Crafty, Ali from Ali Z is Crafty, Maggie from Kitschy Whips, and Anna from Anna's Books and Stitches. And this is the pattern I picked. It's Wildflowers by Ink Circles. So Michelle from Bindi Stitchy started, I don't know if she officially is the one that started it, but she championed the Ink Circles Round Robins. And I know she's in the first one. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's a good idea. People in her circle are putting together official ones, and then other people are just creating their own. We just created our, well, Ali just asked if anybody wanted to do it, and I said, yes, please. I will stitch the top right quadrant of this January, February, March, and then I will mail it. I know we don't have it organized who goes to where. So I'm starting this in January, but each quarter of next year I will do a quarter of somebody else's. So by the end of the year, mine will be done, and I will stitch a fourth of 4 different patterns. Right now I have fabric and floss pulled, but until I actually put stitches in, I might change my mind. Right now I'm liking it. I reserve the right to change my mind. And oh my goodness, I don't have this written down what this fabric is, so that's interesting. Well, I think I have it. So in the box that I keep my linen in, I think I have it listed what it is. I think this is a 32 count lakeside linen, but I'm not, now that I don't, not having it written down is really like blown my mind. Okay, so what I picked out is these 2 cotton, highly variegated from Mo Silk, but these are actually cottons, called Morning Dew, that are just so pretty, and they have greens and purples. So it's kind of, the original pattern is in 4 different floss colors, but I would rather use this opportunity to enjoy like a highly variegated. By the time this project is started in January, I'll know what this fabric is. I'm pretty sure it's lakeside linen, but it might not be. Anyway, until I see, so I'm going to start this and see what this floss looks like on this fabric before I 100% commit to this being my choices. Because the fabric is a little bit of like a light pink, but not, it's like, I don't know. It's like if a neutral, it's like the lightest pink a neutral could be. It's like a tint of pink. And the Morning Dew has like tints of green, pink, purple, and gray. I think it'll be really lovely and delicate. If it's not and it doesn't look good, then I will change it to something else. And this project is going to live in this small Teresa Kogut fabric bag from Jasmine's Custom Bags. And in the description I'll list, I always do, but I will again this time list all of the places that any of the stuff that I'm showing comes from. All right, so that's January. February, I'm gonna start Pink Barn by the Artsy Housewife, which I'm so excited about. So you guys know I'm working on Coffee and Eggs by the Artsy Housewife, and I'm loving it. I have a lot of Artsy Housewife patterns that I bought all at once, and I want to get them started even though Coffee and Eggs will not be done. So Coffee and Eggs will be done by the end of next year, but it won't be done before I start other Artsy Housewife patterns, and that's okay. So Pink Barn is charted. It's one of the only patterns I've seen from her that's charted in all DMC. So I do have the DMC pulled for it. It's really pretty. And I have the PDF, so I've either already shown it, but I will show the picture again. I just love the little cow. And I think we'll make a fun thing to be stitching in the spring. And it is 40 count lamb's wool linen is the called for. This will be nice because my other Artsy Housewife is on 28 count. So when I want to be fancy and be doing 40 count, I'll have it. But when my eyes won't work, I can do Coffee and Eggs. Coffee and Eggs will probably be the only Artsy Housewife piece that I finish next year. But that's okay. I love her patterns. And I own more of her patterns that aren't kitted. So I restrained myself. And it is in this Pink Barn, pink scissors bag from Carriage Sews For You. I don't think you guys have seen this bag before. Some of the bags you guys have seen because other projects have lived in them, but some of them have been holding these specific kits, just waiting to get started. All right, the next one I don't have anything kitted for because we just settled on it. But the next one on February 13th, I'm gonna start Strawberry Fields Forever. You guys know how much I've been loving working on Yellow Submarine, and Yellow Submarine should be done if I keep doing 200 stitches a week or a little bit more, like I did 300 yesterday. So I stitch on it on Sundays and I try to do 200. Yesterday I just was loving it and I just kept going. If I keep doing 200 to 300 stitches on it, it will be finished in February. It may not be finished before February 13th, but it will be close. The next one I'm going to work on is Strawberry Fields Forever. And the reason I picked this one is because Julie from Julian Stitches, and her actual handle is Julian Stitches 16, and I'll link her Flosstube in the description. We decided we were going to SAL. She has all the patterns in this too, and we decided we were going to SAL one together. She technically has a small start on this, so she's going to pick it back up on February 13th, and I'm going to start it on February 13th. We picked that date because we wanted like a significant date, and February 13th is the anniversary of when the song was released. But also we were kind of just trying to make sure we had a date that wasn't like, we weren't ready to start it in December or January, and so February seemed like a great time. It is about the same size as Yellow Submarine, but I haven't looked at it. I haven't made a PDF of it, so I don't know how many actual stitches it is. It looks way stitch heavier than Yellow Submarine, so it'll probably take me longer. Yellow Submarine's only about 5,000 stitches. This looks like more, but we'll see. Now I'm gonna kit this when I go to the Silver Needle for the floss. I'm gonna pull fabric from Stash, but it calls for mostly Gentle Arts. Calls for 2 weeks dye work. So when I'm at the Silver Needle, I will look and see, I'll pull those weeks and then pull something similar. One of them is not such a big deal because one of them is just a gray that's not in that much of the pattern, and I could probably pick any non-variegated gray to be fine. But one of the ones that's weeks is one of the reds in the house, and so I want to make sure I get it bright because it's the red in the house and strawberries, and it's a strawberry pattern. So I don't want to guess that color conversion. And then it's charted on weeks gray, so I will pull something from Stash once I see. I have some grays, but they might be like too gray. What's funny is both of these pictures are actually charted on gray, but the way they photograph, neither of them looks like a gray to my eyes. So it'll be really interesting to see once I have the floss what it looks good with. So I'll just pick something once I know what the floss looks like. But I'm really excited about that. We don't have a hashtag for it yet, but if you have any Beatles patterns from Blackbird Designs that you want to SAL with us, we're starting on February 13th. So you have time to join us if you want to, and if you have something, if you already are working on something and just want to pick it up, then we would love to have you. All right. Okay. The next one I have is another one that I have all the DMC for, but I'm just going to pull fabric from stash. And that is Flea Market Baskets from Lori Holt. I bought this because I was going to buy a Carolyn Manning, and this has a similar vibe. I just wanted something pretty and colorful. I needed it because I was working on so much spooky season stitching. I needed something to just switch to, but I'll be excited to have this to pull out. So basically, Thursdays, my theme is do either a witchy stitcher or witch's garden craft pattern, or do a Lori Holt pattern. So either do something spooky and dark and fun, or bright and colorful and fun, depending on my mood. And none of them have any like time frame in which they need to be stitched by. So this is the beautiful DMC bouquet. It's so pretty and colorful. And the reason I went ahead and picked that one instead of picking a Carolyn Manning is because it was for sale at Savage Quilter, which is a local quilting store in Oklahoma City. And we don't have a LNS, a local needle workshop that is cross stitch. We do have a really good needlepoint store, but we don't have a cross stitch store. I talked to the needlepoint store when I was in there last time, and we are going to interview them sometime about like what can cross stitchers like find, you know, enjoy at a needlepoint store, in case people are in a similar situation as we are. The Silver Needle's 90 minutes away. It's not that far away, but it is like a commitment to go spend the gas money and the toll money and then go shop there, when you could get like, you know, a lot of stuff online. But it feels better to support an LNS. I wish we had one. So buying a pattern at Savage Quilter, which carries just like a tiny bit, it carries like the Cosmo line and a few like It's So Emma and Lori Holt patterns. So buying something from there was just like my way of supporting them and their endeavor to bring more cross stitch stuff to Oklahoma City. I do wish they had more. I went back last week and I was like, I'll buy a pattern today. Like, let's see what they have. And they didn't have anything new. So I really want them to want to have cross stitch stuff. And I keep that in this Lori Holt fabric quilt bag from Ragtag Quilt Art. I love this bag, and it's just like perfect to hold a Lori Holt pattern in a Lori Holt bag. And I will just pull the fabric from stash when it's time. All right, my next start is, I showed you guys this in a haul. I bought this on eBay, The Tale of Peter Rabbit. So the artwork in The Tale of Peter Rabbit, which is by Beatrix Potter, is Beatrix Potter's original artwork. And that is like, there's no way that's still under copyright. So I believe if you wanted to chart it yourself, you would be fine to do it. I would double check. I mean, for personal reasons, you'd probably always be fine, but I would double check. I wouldn't like go sell something out of it like without checking. But the fact that the book already had it all charted, I was just like, and it's such a sweet book, and it's like a vintage book. It was published in 1983, so it's older than I am. And I haven't decided. I'm gonna stitch one of these at Easter. I probably won't finish it this year, but I haven't decided which pattern I'm gonna do. I'm thinking this one, like, or there's another one. I don't know. I haven't decided fully. I think I want to do one with multiple bunnies in it and not just, but I obviously like this one. This is the one on the cover. So I'm sure the patterns are under copyright. So let me cover the actual pattern, but you can kind of see like it's all charted in DMC. And also, when it comes to getting closer to Easter, I'll pull fabric from stash. I actually think the fabric of the month I got from Oak Crown Studio might be like an offbeat but perfect choice, and I'll be showing that in my next Flosstube, but I don't 100% know. And so like I'll just pull whatever DMC I have from stash, and whatever DMC I'm missing, I'll just go get in a box store. All right, and then my other thing I'm gonna start in March. Oh, so I'm starting that in March. The other thing I'm going to start in March is this Easter kit from OwlForest Embroidery. You guys, well, some of you, if you saw the OwlForest unboxing that I did when I bought this, I showed everything in it. I did go ahead and buy the kit for this one. Most of the OwlForest I just bought the thread packs, but my idea was like I wanted to buy one kit for the experience of having a kit, and then thread packs when I realized how much the shipping was. And now I was like, I might as well. So this is the color palette for it. It's so beautiful. Now because I did buy the kitted fabric, I did buy, I did have to choose. So I think for this I bought a 28 count. I'm pretty sure because I was barely stitching linen when I bought this. And I'm gonna need to just measure it because OwlForest is kind of notorious for giving enough floss in their kits, but not enough fabric for like a super great margin. So on top of needing to do a center start, I'll just need to measure this very carefully. And if it's not gonna work, I will replace the fabric before I start. But I just know from watching other people's videos that it's very important that I decide ahead of time. The kit came with like a little guide on stitching with variegated floss, but I already have 2 OwlForest going and I'm starting the 3rd. So I'm not super worried about that. I wanna see, it only has 7 colors. I wanna see where it says, if it says what the kit fabric was. I think it says Weiger. It might be a Witchelt. It kind of feels more like a Witchelt, but I don't know. Well, no, if this is a 28 count, this is not a Witchelt. I'll see. By the time I start it, I'll show you guys what it is, but this is what it looks like. It's just a very plain cream. And this piece is only about 4,000 stitches, I think. So it is something that I potentially could finish if I don't end up stopping for it being the end of the season. And then because it's the kit, it came with 1 needle and it came with a needle binder that matches. Alyonushka's alphabet, I have a matching needle minder, but now I don't remember where it is because it all kind of got mixed up. So I gotta find that needle minder. Not by Saturday, but I gotta find it. So that is gonna be my like seasonal Easter piece with the Peter Rabbit. Those will be the 2. And I reserve the right to start any other seasonal smalls I wanna start and not count them. Basically my idea is I'm gonna start these 24 pieces, and if I wanna start other things, then I start other things. So my next one is gonna be in April. And you guys have seen Allison finish this, and she even fully finished this. This is Cornelius from the Chicken Club by Lori Holt. I think I might add an extra chick because I have 2 kids, although it's a rooster, not a chicken, so it's definitely not me. But it's just sweet and cute. I could see it up in my kitchen. Allison loves stitching it so much. I think she stitched it in like 3 days or something. So I just have kind of wanted to stitch it. The color palette is so pretty. It's all DMC. And I don't know what it's charted on. It's charted on 25 count barley Lugana, because like Lori Holt tends to chart. Lori Holt tends to be marketed to introductory stitchers, people who are moving from like, or not necessarily introductory, but like mass marketed, because she has a lot, you know, she's all over Fat Quarter Shop, and she's in places like the Savage Quilter. Like she's just, people see her patterns, and so a lot of times the fabric is easier. I decided to do it on 28 count baked clay because I know this piece will eventually go in my kitchen, and that's what I'm doing coffee and eggs on by the Artsy Housewife. So I figured it'd be nice for the fabric on those to be coordinated. I originally thought I might coordinate the floss and swap out for fancy floss, but I don't want to do that. I just want to do what I have, and it is in this Lori Holt fabric chicken bag from Ragtag Quilt Art that I just, yes, I bought this bag because of this pattern. I bought it like, but I don't care. I love it so much. It will get used. Once this pattern is done, it will get used. And I don't know if Cornelius is getting finished next year because it kind of depends on if I'm feeling more spooky or if I'm feeling more bright and shiny, which side of me gets more love on Thursdays, but I'm excited about it. The next one is my next Artsy Housewife start. This is also going to be in April, and this is Una Owl, and I have it on PDF, so I'll show a picture. And Una lives in this Teresa Kogut deer bag from, oh no. I think Ragtag Quilt Art. I will look it up. I think this is, wait, let me check. Yeah, okay. These are both Ragtag Quilt Art. I ordered them in separate orders. I went back and ordered this because I already liked this one. Okay, and that's on Etsy. Una Owl is charted in Fancy Floss, and I did order these before I wasn't stitching with Weeks. So she's charted in a mix of Weeks, Gentle Arts, and Classic Colorworks. And she's charted on Fox and Rabbit, Eureka. I have it in 28 count. I don't remember if that's the original or if I just changed it because I was still new to stitching linen and didn't know. I think for most of the Artsy Housewife ones, I just bought whatever the called for was because I was like, I want these to look exactly like they look on hers. Because I just loved them so much. So I think it must be charted on 28 count, but I'm not 100%. Anyway, so that's, guys. So yeah, that's that. And I'm very excited. I've seen a lot of people stitching Una Owl because she was one of the, she wasn't a summer release. I think she was a Nashville release or something. She came out earlier than some of the other ones. So a lot of people are a lot further along, I think, on Una Owl. And there's some great finishes out there of her. And I can't wait to be stitching her. All right, May. In May, I'm gonna do Mirror May. I did Nora November this year. I'm gonna do Mirror May. These are my current thoughts about Mirror May. And I also have thoughts about Nora November when we get to November. But I reserve the right to switch which patterns I do because one of the most rewarding things about doing Nora November that I've mentioned is SALing some of the patterns with people. And if I have to switch which patterns of the patterns I already love, if someone says they want to do this one instead of this one and it's SAL and I get to talk about fabric choices and floss choices with someone and like feel like I'm part of a community, that is a reason to push one pattern ahead of another. So right now, I think I'm going to do these two, but we'll see. Now, for the first one, I'm going to do either Fairy Moon or Stargazer. This is Stargazer, and I have the pattern for Fairy Moon. It's currently out of print. I bought it on eBay, but I forgot that it wasn't in this binder. So that's Fairy Moon. No, that's Stargazer, and this is Fairy Moon. They have very similar vibes, so I don't need to have both going at the same time. So I'll do the other one in like 10 years, whenever this one gets done. And I was originally gonna do Fairy Moon. And then Kat from Whittier Stitches mentioned that she was gonna do Stargazer. I don't know when she's starting. And I kind of was like, well, if she's gonna do Stargazer, and I told her and Jordan from Jordan at Needle House, we're gonna do Stargazer. And I was like, if you don't mind me jumping in on your SAL, I would love to because I was going back and forth anyway. So if they SAL Stargazer and they start her before May, like if they SAL Stargazer and I decide to join them and they will have me, then I will just do that. And I might do it earlier than May and I'll just be stitching on her in May because I don't want both of those patterns going at the same time as new starts, maybe at some point down the road. The other May Mirabilia I'm gonna start is Cathedral Woods Goddess, which if you've been watching my channel, you know that this was the first Mirabilia I fell in love with and the first one I thought I was gonna start. And then I started 3 others instead because I decided, I got very in my head about fabric and ended up picking out fabric that I love from Bestitch Me, but as a dyed order. And I ordered it like in the first 10 days of October, I think like October 8th. But the website said it was gonna be 3 to 12 weeks. And so I thought I was gonna start it in November, contingency being if the fabric got here. And I had like 6 weeks till the end of November from when I ordered it. So I thought, there was a good chance. It didn't come, fine. I started Lady Mirabilia, Elizabeth in the Lavender Sky, and Fairy Flora instead. happy with all those choices. I'm loving working on all of them. Fairy Floor is getting the most attention, but I'm loving them all. Then I thought I was gonna start Christmas Elegance. The fabric didn't come for that either. So if Christmas Elegance fabric comes before the end of the year, I'll go ahead and start her. If not, we'll talk about her later. Cathedral Woods Goddess, I'm not gonna start her this year, even if the fabric comes this year. So I will start her in May. I have all of her fancy floss, but I didn't bring it. Because it's not in a kit, it's just in my like silk organization little tub thing. So I have all of her Kreinik and all of her water lilies. I'll just pull her DMC once the fabric gets here and start her in May. If the fabric's not here by May, something's wrong. Like, because 12 weeks will be sometime in the middle, like in the early middle of January. So I'll just start her then. I love her. I think she's beautiful. I've seen a lot of people working on her. Licking Floss finished her. Rachel from Licking Floss finished her this year. She has a video with the finish. And then Michelle McGraw is just switched her fabric and just showed her again this week. So still love her. Excited to stitch her. Just didn't want to stitch her on fabric I didn't love when I like picked out one I loved. If the fabric gets here and I don't love it, then I will probably copy somebody else's fabric choice, because then it will just be a sign that I'm not ready to pick the fabric for that pattern. All right, that's Mirame. My other plans for Mirame will be just to spend a little bit of extra time on the Mirabilias I have going. All right, June. June I'm very excited about. My seasonal piece for next summer is going to be Summer in the Village. It is a free pattern from OwlForest Embroidery. You can see the pattern here. So you can just go download the pattern, use the DMC conversion, and not spend any money with them. I did get the thread pack in my thread pack haul. Look, right, that's just lovely summer. I really like stitching with OwlForest variegated threads, and when I'm done with the 7 packs that I have in 25 years, I will need to buy more because they're just really lovely. And they're so lovely that I kind of am wanting to do things on higher count fabrics so that I end up using less thread than I thought, so that I have thread left over for other projects. Like, that's how much I love them. Like, even this white is like more variegated than I've seen. Like, you can't really tell now, but like even the white has like this beautiful variegation without being gray. Like, it's just, they're just beautiful. I haven't picked the fabric yet. I will just pick the fabric from Stash. And she lives in this strawberry bag from Kathy's Posies, which I just love. It's so perfect and summery. And so yeah, so I'll start Summer in the Village. I won't start it like on the summer solstice or anything, probably. I'll just probably start it when June rolls around. If I'm like itching for something seasonal in May, I could start early, but it's just gonna be what I stitch on seasonal Saturdays until I get into autumn stitching. I will start doing some Halloween stitching in August. So I will stitch Summer in the Village from when I feel like summer started. So I may do it a couple weeks early in May, but because of Mira May, I'll probably wait till June. Until I'm really angry at it being 105 degrees every day, and then I will switch to Halloween stitching. And so that is why I have the next piece set for August. Oh wait, no, I gotta do July first, and then I'll switch to August. So July is my birthday. I'm not doing like a huge big like birthday SAL or anything. Kind of doing this 24 and 24 is kind of like my birthday gift to me. Like, this is a lot of kits. So I don't really have, no, I shouldn't be spending extra money on myself next summer because I bought everything I wanted to stitch. So, but I am gonna save one of my OwlForests for my birthday start. Pushkin's Tales. You can see the pattern here. I will just pull fabric from Stash, and that's the thread pack. It's gorgeous. And I don't think the pattern is the most beautiful pattern in the world. I'm not super inspired by the pattern. What inspires me about it is I want to sit and stitch and watch Russian like movies based on Russian literature, and listen to Pushkin's like audiobooks of Pushkin in translation, and think about like reading like Russian literature in college when I didn't have any responsibilities, and just like I just want to like use it as a total fanciful escape. And that's why it's like the perfect birthday start. And it lives in this green gnome bag, which you guys have seen many times, but it's been retired since I finished that Iceland piece. So it's like a great little foresty bag, because a lot of Pushkin stuff is like Russian fairy tales. All right, so then that's the only planned start I have in July. I have 2 gift starts planned for next year, one early in the year and then another one in July, just so I have time to get to them. But I'm not going to talk about them on the channel until they're given away, because at least one of the 2 people that I'm doing gifts for watches the channel semi-regularly. All right, in August lives a project that is very near and dear to my heart, and when I was so bummed I didn't get to start last year, but I just didn't want to give it short shrift. And it lives in this this green gnome bag is by Carrie Sews For You. This black cat bag is by Carrie Sews For You on Etsy. And this is Black Cat Season by Lindy Stitches. And here's the pattern, because I bought the PDF. And I bought the whole kit from her. So it's a skinny quarter of Blackberry Latte from Grace Notes Fabric is the fabric, because it's a bell pull. And I'm doing all of it's 6 smalls, but I'm doing them all together with the free border so that they form a bell pull. And I just was like, I was like really into getting Baba Yaga done, and I didn't want to like I didn't want to just start it. I knew once I started, I wanted to give it time. So I feel like starting in August, I'll have a lot of time to really devote to it, because some of my other seasonal like Halloween smalls I'll work on here and there, but this will be the like focus for next year. And I did put it into markup, and it was not as many stitches as I thought. Like I thought, oh no, this is going to be like 30,000 stitches. This is like a BAP. And let me see how many stitches it was. Without the border, it's 8,600. And the border is, the borders add 7,500. So it's about 10,000 stitches. So if I stitch on it August, September, and October, I probably won't finish it, but I'll get really, really far, and be able to give it like really the respect that it deserves as a piece that I love. It's all weeks, but again, I bought it before I knew. And so now if I were to buy it now, I would just buy different, I would look these up, and then I would look at these and buy like other fancy floss that, you know what I'm saying. Now, part of what I loved about this is that a bell pull you could buy, it wasn't like a kit, you had to buy them all separately, but she had this piece to put on the bell pull that's like handmade that I just love. So by Halloween 2025, maybe next year I need to, so maybe for 2025, I need to put it on my WIPGO board a bunch so that it gets done in time to get it fully finished for Halloween 2025. But it will always remind me of this cartoon that my son loves called Taddy and Missy Foo, which is like it's from Spain, but he watches it like in English translation, of a little witch girl and her cat, and the cat is very curmudgeonly, and he likes to pretend to be the cat, and he likes me to be the witch girl Taddy, and he likes my baby to be the other witch girl Lily. And he'll just go to my daughter, he'll go, Lily, and he likes to say the curmudgeonly things that Missy Foo says, and my mom thinks it's like inappropriate, and it probably is, but it's just so adorable that I can't help it. Like, he'll say things like, "This is so boring," and I just know that he's pretending to be this cat. So I did tell his teacher, I sent an email to his teacher, like, hey, so he's really into pretending to be a cat named Missy Foo that says crazy things. So if he says something that sounds rude, probably came from there. And he also is really into whales, so he likes to say things like sperm whale and killer whale, but sometimes he just uses killer and sperm, and out of context, that is crazy. Sending all of this as one email to his teacher was quite interesting. Luckily, it's the same teacher he had last year, so she just knows him and knows what a great kid he is, and thought it was all very funny. But anyway, so this piece, when he's 25 and this is hanging on my wall at Halloween, whether he's talking to me or not, it will remind me of this like precious time in his life. So it will be a very important piece for me. And then, so I want to start it in August so it gets really good time. Plus I know in August I will want to start stitching Halloween. I do have 2 other August starts planned. I don't know how much attention they'll get, but I do want to get them started. The next one is Pear Hill by the Artsy Housewife. Here's the gorgeous floss pack. Again, this is charted in Classic Colorworks weeks and Gentle Arts. It has 2 weeks that I'm pretty sure would be easy to replace if you don't stitch with weeks. And it is charted on 40 count cream. I think this is Weigart. And it will just be beautiful. Now this pattern has a lot more stitches than some of her other ones, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I should have put the stitch count in my notes instead of having it just in the app. But where's Pear Hill? Okay, so Coffee and Eggs is 10,000 stitches. Pear Hill is 15,000, no, the Pink Barn is 15,000 stitches. Pear Hill is 11,000. Okay, so actually it's the Pink Barn that is the most. Una Owl is 5,000. So like, you know, Coffee and Eggs is gonna get done next year. Una Owl could get done next year if I decide to focus on that one for my Artsy Housewife stitching time. But I just love her patterns and getting them all, and I have them all kitted, so I want to get them all started. But you know, I stitch Artsy Housewife on Wednesdays. I'm only doing 200 to 300 stitches. So other than the extra days to start them and any extra attention they get, like, you know, it's just going to be like getting them done when they get done. But it lives in this beautiful purple rose bag from Kathy's Posies and from Etsy, and it's just so pretty. All right. The next one that I'm going to start in August is Blackbird's Designs, Away We Ride. So it's possible that, so I stitched Blackbird on Sunday and I try to do 200 to 300 stitches. I will finish Yellow Submarine. It's possible by the time this gets pulled out that Strawberry Hill will be completed or almost completed. And this might just become my main Blackbird piece I work on until I'm sick of working on spooky stuff. So, and then whenever I'm done with that, if I don't have another Blackbird piece going, I might just start another one of my Beatles patterns, because I did not like stitching Halloween after Halloween this year. So we'll see how I feel about this. But I figure starting in August and making it my Sunday Blackbird piece gives me a while, and I have no idea how many stitches it is, but it looks dense. And seeing other people talk about it on Flosstube, it seems like it is stitch heavy, so I don't think it will be close to a finish next year. I don't know if it will be a border finish next year, but I'm very excited to start it because every time someone shows it, I love it. All right, we are getting in there. Okay, September. This is my, this will be my last Artsy Housewife start for 2024. And then of the Artsy Housewife pieces that I kitted up, I have one more kit, but I didn't want to start it, and I'll tell next year, and I'll tell you why. So the last one I'm going to start is in September. I'm going to start Dark Golden Delicious, which you can see here. This is a PDF only version. So she released Golden Delicious and Dark Golden Delicious. Golden Delicious is available normally, and then Dark Golden Delicious is only available in her Etsy shop as a PDF. And it is charted on Picture This Plus 32 count Barnwood, which is really pretty. I already had this piece in stash in this kit, and then this went on sale. Barnwood went on sale on Black Friday, so I bought, and I already know I really liked it. So I did buy another piece of it for to use to have in stash for something else. Here are the fancy floss. Now, it's the same situation where it's a mix of Classic Colorworks, Weeks, and Gentle Arts. It's really pretty. So I'm starting this in September because this one is the only one of hers that really feels super seasonal. Like Pink Bark feels a little bit springy to me, but not necessarily. Whereas this one feels like very autumnal. So I'm gonna start it in September. It lives in this Lake House Stitch Co. Final Front Rose bag. It's so beautiful. So that means the only Artsy Housewife kit I'll have left is Golden Delicious. And when I kitted them up and when I bought the patterns, I liked Golden Delicious and Dark Golden Delicious. I didn't really mentally process that they are the same pattern with modifications in the color palette and in a little bit of the imagery, but like they're 95% the same pattern, right? So I have the kit for Golden Delicious as well. It feels insane to start them both. I could see a world in which it'd be kind of fun to have them both framed and to switch them out and have one in like the spring and summer and one in the autumn and the winter. But I'm not committing to doing that until, like, I just have so many other things that are more important to me than doing that. But I'm not gonna de-kit it. And I bought the PDF. I don't think you can even sell a PDF if you yourself decide not to do it. Like, I don't think I can buy a PDF, decide I'm not gonna stitch it, and sell that PDF to someone else. Like, I don't think that's allowed. But I could sell like the kitted stuff if I wanted to, but I wouldn't. I would just keep them in stash. So there's no harm in me keeping it as a kit for now, but I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Part of it kind of depends on if I like stitching it, but even if I like stitching it, do I want to stitch something like that twice? Just for the cool idea of switching it out in my house? I don't know. So that was probably a silly thing that I did. Do I regret it? No. Would I do it again? No. So I'm just gonna sit on that kit and see if, when I get close to finishing Dark Golden Delicious at some point in the next few years, if it calls to me or if I want to de-kit it. Or if something comes up where I need those pieces. I am gonna get organized where I'm gonna write down, like put in my Notions template what is where. Right now my Notions template just has my whips and kits, but it doesn't have like which floss is in what. And I don't think I'm gonna worry about that for DMC, but for fancy floss, it might be nice to know what is where. But we'll see. Excuse me. All right, so that gets us through, no, it doesn't get us through September. My second September start is gonna be both my sampler September start, and if there's another Baptist school, which it was so popular, I imagine there will be, but it will also be my Baptist school start. And that is going to be Long Dog Samplers, The Pilgrim, which is here. So I am currently working on Clandestine, which I actually have right here because I keep everything in my Long Dog bag. But I haven't, nothing's changed on it since you guys saw last. So I have Clandestine, I'm working on it. If I keep doing 200 stitches on Long Dog Sampler Sundays, it will be done or very close to being done by September. So it's like pretty good timing to be starting another one. I have the fabric pulled is 28 count antique white from Zweigart. I might, now that I stitch on higher counts, might switch this just to get it to be smaller, because right now it needs a fat half. Might be nice to get it down to a fat quarter, but I haven't looked at the dimensions to know if that's even possible. Like, I don't know if that would even happen. Also, I ordered a fat half. This piece of fabric doesn't feel like it really is a fat half, so I need to measure it. But that's a September problem I can figure out over the summer. I bought 3 hanks, 120 yard hanks of Mohs silk. And like, it's in the color, that is not, that one doesn't seem legible. Let me look. Oh, yeah, in the color Merc. And then I'm gonna mix in a little bit of a yellow that I bought from her. But I bought 2 yellows and I haven't decided, and I forgot to pull them. Because I really need 390 yards, I believe. I love the way Mohs silk smells. Ah, so wonderful. So I gotta pull a yellow. I'm gonna do it in blue and yellow because the pilgrimage that I love pilgrimage sites. I've been on pilgrimages. Like I did a short 100-kilometer Camino de Santiago pilgrimage. And then I've also been to a lot of like religious pilgrimage sites. Both like sites that are pilgrimage sites for Christians, sites that are pilgrimage sites for Muslims, for Jews, for Zoroastrians, for Buddhists. Like I really like, if I'm in a country and I find out that some place is like a popular pilgrimage site, I love going. One of my like favorite travel experiences was going to this like Armenian Orthodox, not cathedral, Armenian Orthodox church doesn't feel like the right word, but and I was like in this one room and I realized everybody in the room was like trying to fill plastic water bottles with this spring water because they believe the water is like holy and blessed. Monastery. I was at Gegard Monastery, which I'll show a picture of here. And I didn't realize beforehand that people go to it specifically to get this, that's not the only reason, it's like a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a very popular site. But Armenians go there, some Armenians go there to drink and touch the water that flows through it that they believe is holy. So it's in this room, and I'm like going, and I like see these people like lined up, and I like go figure it out. But like I don't speak Armenian, obviously. Well, I don't know if that's obvious, but I don't speak any languages but English. I can read Cyrillic, but I cannot write it. And Armenian is a former USSR country, but it is not, or Armenia is a country that was in the USSR, but Armenian has its own alphabet that I cannot read. But I was in this room, like these women were singing, people were lined up to get the water. And if you think that that's like, if you've never been in a place like that and you think that that's kind of odd, I've been in a very similar place in New Mexico in April where it was like this beautiful Catholic church, like, and you stop and you go and like, all of a sudden I realized there's like a room where people believe there's holy dirt in the room, and people go and line up to go in this room and touch and pick up the dirt. And yes, I put some of that dirt in my pocket and I touched everyone in my family with that dirt, because while I'm not very religious in particular, I do believe that like I've had spiritual experiences at some of these places. Anyway, that's a really long way of saying like I enjoy going to pilgrimage sites and learning about different things people believe about pilgrimage sites. And so the Pilgrim felt like the perfect one. And I do plan on, when my children are old enough that I can leave them for a longer stretch of time, and it may not be I may not be comfortable leaving them for 6 weeks until they graduate. So I might be quite old. Well, not quite old. It might be another 20 years before I feel comfortable leaving for 6 weeks. But I would like to go back and do the full Camino de Santiago from France. I could get away with doing a 2-week from Porto, like going through Portugal, but I would like to do a full 5-week one and give myself 6 weeks in case I need extra time. Anyway, all that to say is very excited about starting the pilgrimage, or the Pilgrim, which seems like a great way for me to get to do like a long-term emotional and psychological pilgrimage during a time when I can't leave my kids to go do a physical pilgrimage. That was really long, I'm sorry. And that lives in a bag you guys have seen a million times. If you're new here, this is a bag I got in Port Aransas, Texas. That is an imported bag from Mexico that I don't know the name of the store, and I don't know if they could get the bag again, and it was not created for cross-stitch projects, but it's perfect for holding 3 small and 1 large long dog sampler. All right, that gets us through September. October. So I'm in Liz Matthews' Patreon. I currently am doing one Liz Matthews piece, Flowers and Friends, and I'll actually start a seasonal piece, Humbug, today. My sister and I stitch her on Mondays. We use the hashtag Liz Matthews Mondays. And my guess is that before October, I will have finished those and have started some other small thing from her Patreon. But in October, this past October, we got October Quaker, a set of October Quakers at the Patreon piece. And I stitched October Quaker Boo, which was like this really cute little small. And the piece it's still a small, but it's slightly bigger, is October Quaker Tree. And you can see a picture of it here. And it is, I think, like really small, like stitch count wise. I probably will finish this. It's 2,300 stitches. So I don't know if I'll finish it because I have other things going on, but I will probably keep stitching this into the autumn but I'm stitching it on 28 count hibiscus from Fabric on a Whim. And I'm using the Stitch Me Silk and Black Walnut. And this is the same thing that I stitched the October Quaker Boo on. So they will match. This brown, it's variegated, but it also has like lots of, it doesn't feel as variegated so much as it feels like it has like white specks when you pull it apart, that like the dye didn't get all the way through. And so it ends up kind of looking like a sweater, which I really like, but I don't know if it's the intended effect because it's not so much like a light to dark brown as it is like a missing color in places, which is kind of cool. But I don't know if I bought another skein of it, if it would replicate it. So I want to make sure I use the same one. And that lives in this beautiful pumpkin pie bag from the Fox's Cottage. I will link her Ko-fi shop. She's hasn't been posting much lately. I hope she comes back. I love her bags and I love her Flosstube. All right, so that gets us through October. Now, November. I'm gonna do Nora November. By November, I will definitely have the one Nora Corbett piece that I'm working on. That's not a Mirabilia, that's a true Nora Corbett Moonglow. That will be done because it's only a 10,000 stitch piece, and I want the bag that it lives in for one of my own pictures in whenever House of the Dragon comes back. So, and I love stitching on it. But that piece, I have 8,500 stitches left, which means if I just do 200 a week, which is the pace that I kind of intend to do, by next November, that piece will be done. None of my Mirabilias will be close to being done, but that won't be done. But so that I can start the second piece in the Wild Floss series so this one goes with Moonglow. Well, they're both in the Wild Floss series. And this is Floral Dreams. And I thought I was gonna start her this year, but again, the fabric was in the same shipment as the fabric for Cathedral Wars Goddess, so it's not here yet. So I'll just save her for next November. And I have everything but her DMC, and the fabric's ordered, but it's not here. So whenever that gets here, she will sit as a full kit without DMC, ready to be started in November. So that will be really exciting and probably like a huge focus piece for November and then all of 2025. The other choices I have for November are to start 2 more Mirabilias, but I want to start winter themed ones. So if Christmas Elegance isn't here, if the fabric isn't here, then I will start her, and we already talked about her story. But how pretty is she? I just love her. And if the fabric is here and I do start her this year, then instead I will start Royal Holiday, which looks like this because I have the pattern, but I didn't bring it for some reason. And then the other one I want to start is Snow Queen. And she's one that I could see enjoying stitching all the way through winter. And then that gets me through November. Neither of these are kitted at all. Well, no. Christmas Elegance, I have the fabric on the way. I'm not buying beads for any of my Mirabilias until they seem like I could finish them in 6 months, like within 6 months, because otherwise I will just be sitting on $10,000 worth of beads, but like for real, like $200 worth of beads that I won't need for years, when I'm not like a super bead purist, and I will not care if I have to sub other beads. I would even sub in just DMC, because like the beads and the sparkliness are not what intrigues me about these patterns. I can even see starting the ones that I have no fabric for as minis, and the mini Mirabilia group shows people who've started things on like 40 count and stuff. I can see starting them on 40 count as a great excuse to just skip beating them all together and just have, because like I love the Mirabilias. I love because they seem intriguing and interesting and weird and different, and there's a story there that I kind of want to ruminate on. I don't care about the beads. Now, Christmas Elegance, these beads seem essential, and so I wouldn't skip them. But something like this, I could see doing this on 40 count and subbing in sparkly other things and just being like, oops, I don't have to bead now. So I'm not getting the beads. Christmas Elegance is charted in all DMC. She does not even have, yeah, she does not, she has Mill beads in DMC. She does not even have a carnic. And that's because she's Mirabilia number 6. And it was, the fancy floss was used a lot less back then. I think it has to do with like what WIPGO owned. Like, I don't think WIPGO owned water lilies then. I don't even know if they existed. Now, the Snow Queen is number 143. So she needs 2 water lilies, a Rainbow Gallery Whisper, 2 Krynics, and a bunch of beads and treasures. So, what a great reason to just do her tiny. I don't know. I might do that. We'll see. But she is not kitted at all. And I reserve the right to switch out which Mirabilia design I do, especially if it's a Mirabilia that is not kitted. December. Now, that is 24 planned starts, plus a couple gift pieces, plus working on my own photographs. So that's enough. I reserve the right to start any seasonal smalls I want to do. I also reserve the right to skip any of these if I want to, or UFO any of them if I need to, but we'll see what happens. December, I'm not putting anything because I want to be able to just do whatever Christmas stitching I want to do. I ordered some stuff from the Jingle Ball that you'll see on our next Flosstube, but just this came in. But like, I don't want to put anything as a start for December. I want to let the holiday wash over me. If I get inspired by a Jingle Ball piece that comes out, I want to feel free to do it. I'm going to have Christmas starts. I'm going to have multiple Christmas Mirabilia whips that I might want to work on. So I just want to, sorry, my eyes are itchy. Next December, I want the right to just scrap all other plans and just work on Christmas. It's such a short season. It doesn't feel like I don't get sick of stitching Thanksgiving and like early, because that's such a short season too. So I just want to do what I want to do next December and not feel like I need to do anything specific. So I'm not going to. The only other thing I want to talk about, and I know this video is really long, is WIPGO. So I currently have 24 whips. I'm adding 2 more. I might add a few more seasonal smalls. So that number is going to go up, but then some of those things are going to get finished this year. So I will roll into 2024 with somewhere between 22 and 28 whips. And that's cool. Most of those have like stitch counts that are less than 10,000 stitches. And a lot of those are like things I'm doing with where I have like multiple pieces from a designer and I'll want to start something, but I might only want to focus on one. Or right now with OwlForest, I'm really enjoying going back and forth between them. But 8 of my pieces are like really big whips going into next year, are really big, where I really do want to knock out some extra stitches in them. Everything else will naturally get finished by doing 200 stitches a week. Or it will be in line to get 200 stitches a week once something else by that designer gets finished. So like Coffee and Eggs gets finished, then I'll pick a new Artsy Housewife focus of the pieces that I have started from Artsy Housewife and just keep going. But the ones that are not really like that, that will need like a push, are the Turkish Shop, which is a photograph of mine. It's my, it was my Baptist School SAL. So I'm gonna put everything I list on my WIPGO board, I'm just gonna put in for 1,300 stitches. I have 8 pieces that I'm gonna list on there, 3 times each. And then for the 13th square that always gets called in July, I'm gonna put a Christmas piece. So I'm gonna put the Turkish Shop on there for 3 goes of 1,300 stitches. Lady Mirabilia will get 3 goes of 1,300 stitches. Fairy Flora will get 3 goes of 1,300 stitches. Now I'll be stitching Fairy Flora every Tuesday, but that will be nice to get it some extra. Alyonushka's Alphabet, Hawk Run Hollow, Village of Hawk Run Hollow, Moonglow. Moonglow and Coffee and Eggs are both on there. They both would naturally get finished, but I do love both of them and think that giving them a little bit of extra time would be fun. So if those get finished and then when their WIPGO goals gets called, when they're already finished, I'll just pick something else by that same designer to work on. And then Cinderella, which I showed you. And Cinderella is the only thing I'm starting next year that will be on my WIPGO board. And then for my Christmas in July, I'm gonna do the Christmas Bell Sampler from Heartstring Samplery. That I'm working on now, because I don't think it's going to get finished next Christmas, but I would love it to get finished maybe the next Christmas. So those are my WIPGO goals. I put them on the board and everything, but it doesn't really matter like what number goes where, so much as like those are the pieces that are going on there. They're all going on 3 times, except the Christmas Bell Sampler is going on just once in July. If I stitch all the things I'm supposed to stitch next year, and I go in with my WIPs that I currently have, I should finish at least 13 of them. My current WIPs, 13 of them are scheduled to get finished next year. So that means I will probably end next year with like between 30 and 40 WIPs, which is a lot. And then in 2025, I'll probably WIP down a little bit and try to do either a 1 in, 1 out, or like not super new starts. I'm kind of going crazy next year because I'm turning 40 and I'm going to enjoy that. And the next year, who wants to turn 41? Like that's I'm not looking forward to turning 40, but at least it's like something to celebrate. So I don't need to celebrate turning 41 with the same gusto. So those are my plans for next year. So let me know your thoughts. Please don't say, you seem crazy, unless you're my sister, in which case you can say whatever you want, but like privately, like to my face, not like in our comment section. If you are new here and you want to see how this all plays out next year, subscribe so that our videos show up in your feed. Leave a comment, tell me what your new plans are. If you got to this point in the video, leave a purple heart for the Pear Hill pattern, or anything else you want to say. And like the video, because it really does help. Like the more you like a video, it helps the algorithm know people who subscribe to the channel like the video, so it shows people on their homepage more. So it really does help us out. Next week, you guys will get a regular Flosstube episode, which will be our last regular Flosstube of 2023. Then the next week you will get our WIP parade. So you'll get like a full rundown of my WIPs and Allison's WIPs. And then if you are joining the Princess SAL, the Princess Birthday SAL, and you haven't checked out the video yet on it, I'll link it below. Guys, feel free to tag us on Instagram or leave in the comments any information about like what you're planning on doing. I'm loving seeing people are picking like the craziest, differentest, coolest things because it's such a broad concept and there are so many cool patterns out there for it. So I'd love to know. And then, yeah, so we will see you guys again before Christmas, but if we don't, or if you only stopped in because it was a plans video and you like to watch lots of people's plans videos, then I hope you have happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, you know, all the holidays, Happy New Year. And other than that, thank you guys so much and bye guys.